Good afternoon, everyone. This is Victor from NewStars Migration. This week, we're going to talk about definitely the financial budget and part of the financial budget, which is the migration planning for 2022 and 2023 under Labour government. Generally speaking, there are few streams enjoy very much of increase in this new allocation. First of all, it's the 1 in 9 independent skill stream. The figure now is over 32,000 for this financial year. It's actually doubled than it was said to be. So that's also what we can see for independent stream invitation in the past 2-3 months. And as I mentioned in last week's video, it has been quite a many of invitation under 189, because as we can see now, there's actually a lot of places, but it's 32,000 allocation at this stage. When we talk about allocation, it does not necessarily mean 32,000 places. It's the place the Department of Home Affairs can use within this financial year. 32,000 means this is the indicate visa allowed it to be approved under 189 stream within this financial year. What does it mean? It means the governments, either the state government or the federal government, can actually issue more places or less places if they want. Because saying if the department issue 35,000 189 invitation, but then the allocation figure is only 32,000, what they can simply do is at the end of the financial year they can on hold the visa approval for 3,000 189 cases in order to meet the target. So that's something internal control methods the Department of Home Affairs can imply. But this allocation figure definitely giving a very strong applications on the actual invitation. So we can take the actual invitation for 189, the independent visa, will be very close to 32,000. And at this stage, as we reviewed, there's already more than 20,000 places invitations has been issued within this financial year. So there's not much of places left. So we're not going to see invitation like what we see in the past 2 months. Every invitation runs it's more than 10,000 places, and we're not going to see that continuous for many months. Probably another 2 to 3 months, and then 189 visa should be very close to the end. At this financial, that's one thing we were expecting to see. Second, the department will probably lowering down the invitation figure for each round, maybe going back to 2,000 or 3,000 places every round, and then keep on the invitation throughout the financial year. So either they're going to do massive invitation round for another 2 to 3 invitation rounds, or they're going to switch it to a smaller invitation round for a longer term. So, but you're not going to see 10,000 invitation for the following 6 months or 8 months, because they will definitely much more. If they do so, they will be exceeding the planning figures, much more than the planning figures. So that's one thing about 189. Talking about 189, the conclusion is there are much more opportunity here for 189 people interested in 189. But again, for onshore applicants, taking for example IT and engineers and accountants, the points still very high. But for health education sector, even for onshore applicants, the points is very low. We see some occupation actually get invited at the points of 65. In the meantime, for offshore applicants, we see a lot of occupations actually enjoying very low points. So this is just how the picture it is. But that's one thing for 189 visa, more opportunities, but then you don't expecting that will continue for a long time. That's one thing. 189 get very much of increase. And second things is the state nomination. So state nomination figure also get increased than it planned. Currently it sits at 31,000. So 31,000 it's the planning figure for 190 visa. And then for 491 visa and 491 visa, it's actually 34,000. So both of them get increased quite significantly. So that's for state nomination. Take ACT for example, it's part of the state nomination program. So for every state government this year, we have much more places to share. And then we're going to talk about the final allocation and the interim, which is the allocation currently every state government have, what's the differences, and is any places for some state like ACT to get more allocation from the department. We're going to talk about later. That's the state nomination visa. In the meantime, there are some drops, allocation drops for some streams. For example, GTI, Global Talent Visa, gets less places, much less places, and for business visa, it's actually nearly 50% drop. So it's not Labour government not really encouraging business visa or GTI visa from this financial budget. But then general, all the skill stream we're talking about, 189 visa, state nomination visa, even 186 sponsored visa gets significant increase. So these all combine as a skill visa. So we can call this, it's really a kind of golden age for skill visa. This is the first year. We hopefully will see the year to come, the government focusing on the skill visa, giving more allocation to skill visa. On top of that, also the parents visa also get more allocation. That will means, parent visa. If you already apply, let's say a subclass 143 for your parents, and you're expecting the processing time will be proceed a little bit. If the Labour government keep on increasing, or keep the current figure for several years, we're going to see increase for parent visa processing time. Currently sits about 7 to 9 years, which is most people consider to be too long. Previously it was 4 to 5 years. So if the allocation figure every year stays around 8,000 places, we'll probably see that drop back to 4 to 5 years in the coming 2 to 3 years. So shorter time for people to waiting to united with their parents. So this is allocation figure things. And on top of that, I would like to talk about most people asking, which is allocation places. Will ACT or will some other states getting more places basing on the current budget, the current allocation figures? We did a big calculations basing on the past couple of years. I just try to give you a bit of idea about the state government's allocation and the department's allocation and how many places actually state government is getting. So let's say last year, 2021-2022, the allocation figure for the department is giving 1,100 and 200 for 190, but eventually the allocation, the figures for all the state government is actually 14,400. So actually they are 3,000 more than the planning figure. As I say, this planning figure only means the visa approval figure. So there's actually more places being given to state government than it was planned for the visa granting purpose. So last year there was actually 3,000 more for 190 visa. And last year for 491 visa, the department's allocation figure is 11,200. But then eventually the state nomination allocation combines goes up to 12,430. Again, that's a differences roughly about 1,000 places. So we did a bit calculations. This year the allocation figure is going to be somewhere about 3,400 places. That pretty much. But the current interim state nomination allocation is just above 30,000 places. So leave is about 4,000 to 3,500 places available for 190. So that's the conclusion. There are 3,000 to 4,190 places available now to be allocated to every state government. And then in the meantime, the calculation based on 190, that's over 12,491 allocation available for every state government. So roughly 3,190 places and 12,491 places to be shared among the states. So that brings to the question: will ACT actually getting the places they want, the places they have been calling for, 5,000 places? That is definitely possible, because there's still 3,180 places available. ACT currently sits about 2,700 places. So saying if ACT government getting another 5,000 places for 190 and maybe 1,000 places for 491, then that brings the allocation figure over 4,000 overall. So that's something we can expect it. That's something we can expect it. Currently, that's the figure we can come up with. It all depends with the state government and the negotiation between the state governments and the federal governments. I mean, federal government will say, "This is the place I have. This is additional 3,400 places for 180 I have. This is additional 12,400 places I have for 491. Which state would like to have those places?" And there will be some states raise up the hands and say, "I like another 2,000 places." There will be some states probably not raise up the hands saying, "We have enough for this financial year," based on the capacities, based on the processing efficiency we consider. So that's something probably going to happen, but we don't know when will the state governments actually review the final allocation figure. Hopefully very soon. Once the state government receiving the final allocation places, maybe saying another additional 1,000 or 2,000 places, they will have to adjust their invitation plans. Take ACT for example. They will be able to increase the invitation figure for each round in order to consumes all the places they have. So that's something we're able to see, and that will eventually bring down the points. So let's wait and see. Hopefully, ACT getting some shares from the places left, within the departments of Foreign Affairs. Okay, so that's for ACT allocation places. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching this week, and I'll see you next week.